to fruition, then you hit the okay. So now we can start. Okay, so it's red. So now we're streaming, correct? I, over to you, Sabrina.
Okay. Hi. Hi, Jesse. How are you?
I'm doing great, Sabrina. How are you
Nice
doing?
to be with you. I'm doing great, thank you. Nice to be with you. So I'm going to
Nice.
start with my questions. It's really a pleasure to have you with us. So my first question is, you know, share your story, and what I mean by that is share, not describe what you do and what your business is about, but really share your story. Like, what got you into the business? Like, how did you? What was the highlights that allowed you to be in that business? So that's my first question.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Um, As someone who came from India to USA, I enjoyed everything America had to offer, including the brownies and the cakes and the everything, because I've never seen all those things in India. I didn't even know the name brownie until I came to USA. So everything was new to me. And I enjoyed even one of the funny things I remember is I didn't know how to do grocery shopping. So I followed people to see what they buy. That's how I learned about cereal and things like that. But what happened is within 4 years, I became diabetic and didn't have any exercise. I always traveled by car. Back in India, we walked to places. And so this was all new to me. And I became diabetic along with my pregnancy. And that continued for 17 plus years. Then one day I realized this is just going cumulatively increasing the number of medications, the number of doctor visits, and everything. And I became more and more sicker. I had edema. My feet would explode into, bigger than my shoe size by the time I got home in the evening after work. I'm an engineer by profession and I worked in the software industry all the time. So sitting job. So when I came back home, I was really tired and exhausted, didn't have energy to do anything, and only wanted to sit and sleep or nap. And then one day, when I went to work, I lost my job. That kind of put me into a depression. And I just didn't know what to do because we don't have any support system here, just me and husband and kids. So life kind of felt like purposeless, meaning no meaning. I just didn't want to live anymore and be a burden to anybody. What can a sick person contribute to the family? The one thing I did was bringing in money and stuff. That I couldn't do that. I felt very much depressed, and yeah, I prayed, and I heard the little voice talking to me that I needed to love me more. There is a better thing for me. You know, I'm destined for greatness. It's not just ending here. It's just a phase there that I needed to reframe and reconfigure my life. So I started looking at what can I do. First thing was improve my health. So I decided to eat better, walk. Walking was even hard for me because I had asthma. So, but I started slowly walking, and then within 3 months, I was able to reverse the diabetes of 17 years, type 2 diabetes. And there, God just put more passion into my heart. So I started studying in the community college, went took lessons and classes and learned more about the human body and nutrition because the engineers, hardly learn anything about all these things, right? So I learned, and then I said, I want to be a coach. I want to help people. So I took certifications. And fast forward into third year of my journey, I had lost all the weight I gained. And slowly I was able to wean my allergy medicines and my asthma medications. So that was like, amazing.
That's
But I never
fantastic.
thought I would ever get off asthma medications because from the childhood, I lived with the medications for asthma, inhalers after inhalers, allergy medicines. And that was like a miracle. So I said, God really want me to do this. That's why he's teaching me all this through my experience. That's how all this happened. That's how I started the business. Wanted to help people like me, who just don't know what to do, right? We don't read a label or anything. You just go to the grocery store, buy things, eat. That's all we knew until I became aware about the things. Then I had a why that, because of this, I wrote my new statement of identity and I created a new person in me that would be healthy and be alive to see my children growing up and will not be a burden to them. And so, yeah, there I am, healthy. And, now I can walk without the inhaler and I can stay healthy.
That's fabulous. I cannot hear you, Sabrina.
I was saying that it's amazing. Like it's really amazing. And it's beyond inspiring. It's what I'm hearing and what you're sharing is the ability of taking small steps for a bigger future and giving it back to others. And that is very inspirational. My second question would be when it comes to your clients, what story or what inspires you to help them?
So we only have one life. We can take it whichever direction we want to go. We can say, this is only one life. I want to eat, enjoy everything I can, and die. Or we can say, this is only life I have. I want to make an impact. I want to live healthy. I don't want to be a burden to my family. I want to stay healthy, live healthy, and create a better life for me and my friends, family. So they can look up to me and say that, you know, I am
And what
strong.
would you say? Yeah, what would you say to customers or future customers who said, "I've tried everything, nothing works"?
I would say, give it a try. Things can happen and work when you work. If we don't put ourselves to do something, it won't work. I call it compound effect. Compound effect. Step by step, we add, just like we climb a ladder. We cannot climb from the first rung to the top one. We had to climb step by step. And if we give enough time, things work. People are living in this world. They're successful. Many people, it doesn't happen overnight. And it works if we work the system.
Oh,
We
that's
have to work
amazing.
within us first. Internally, we have to make the change, willingness, and desire to continue the journey.
So you
Yeah,
would
and
say
what
everybody just needs to start, right, Jesse? Just people just need to start and take that first step.
yeah, and what I'm
Yeah,
hearing, yeah, what I'm hearing, what you're saying, it's not about being perfect. It's not about the super plan. It's really about giving you the gift of starting.
that's right. A journey to the million steps, miles start with one step, right? So that's where it all starts. Then we add to it. And slowly we celebrate the success along the way. I say, it's not perfection. It is about practicing what we learn and continuing the journey.
That's amazing. My last question is because we're around storytelling and how storytellings move and share. And you really made a difference just by sharing what you shared. Because I'm part of one who's always looking and struggling around battling weight. So hearing you really makes a difference for me. And it's also one of my concern. I have a 4-year old, and I'm also diabetic type 2. So it's like amazing. Now, my last question is everybody has something that inspires them. Either a book you have read, or either a movie you have seen, or even a quote. What would you say is the story or the quote or that comes to you when things goes bad?
It's scripture. I depend on Bible. I look at the promises in the Bible and I trust and believe. I know I'm not perfect, but sometimes I cry. But then again, I'll come back to the promises. God has promised that He'll walk with me and He has a plan for me and He will be guiding me along the way. And I trust that. And I remind myself every day about the promises because otherwise I would not have been come to USA at all. I would have stayed in India. And
Could you
I,
also could you also share a little bit, like when we talked, you said there was a moment you were in the bus, and then things were not easy, and then you saw a quote. Could you share a little bit about that?
what is that?
You know the quote about greatness that you shared?
Oh, yeah, yeah. So, yeah, one of the things happened in my life in the last year and a half or something. We are a family, we have problems and issues and everything we discuss. One day I just felt very upset in the family after some talk we had, a discussion we had. I thought, I felt like nobody was appreciating me, all the things I'm doing. I'm trying to build a business, run the family, go for work, all those things, and then raising the kids, right? That time my daughter was in the high school, and then we had a morning, like having the breakfast, running her to school, all those things. So I was just so kind of felt like I was not being appreciated. So I cried, and then I went to work. I take a bus to go to work. And on my way to work, we come across trucks and everything. I saw a truck going by next to me. I usually don't observe anything like that, but it just was in front of me. It said, destined for greatness. And I said,
Nice.
God just put that in front of me to keep reminding me that I am, much more than what everybody thinks. In His eyes, I have a place. So He showed me that saying, show it. Then I went and wrote that as my password for the work. And I just thought, I wrote it. So that was the whole day. I just meditated on that. And anytime I feel, that is written everywhere. When I do my meditation in the morning, I write journaling, I write, I am destined for greatness. So I believe that. And I'm not going to let it go because it was given to me on a day that I was very down and depressed. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Jesse. That was my last question. And I'm inviting you. Thank you for sharing your greatness with us and the greatness that you stand for also your clients. It's a pleasure to, be with you and talk to you. I don't know, Cheryl, do you have other questions?
Um,
I would just love to hear from Jesse. What would you actually say would be the best way that someone can make a difference in starting? How can somebody reach out to you? They're hearing the streaming right now. What would you suggest to them? Two things that they can do right now to start on their journey, and then secondly, how can they get hold of you? Because I think a lot of the people out there would just really love to connect and share their stories with you as well too. Because I think you've really connected with a lot of people. But even before they do that, two items that they can do right now, and then your contact information so they can reach out to you. I think that would be great.
the first thing is that, you know, if they're listening and if they're motivated, give the pat on their back saying, you are in the right place and you can do this. Tell them themselves. And always tell progress over perfection. Perfection is not anywhere be found, but we can make progress. And one amazing tip
Yes.
that helped me along the way, and I always give my clients, is 3-bite rule. We don't need to deprive anything, okay? But we can plan to eat and enjoy anything we want. What I say is use 3-bite rule to enjoy that. So if it is, say, on a Friday, Americans like to, go out and eat or have party or whatever. Say if you found something that you really wanted to enjoy, a brownie or ice cream or whatever, just enjoy it. But using 3-bite rule, first bite, you take it and enjoy it and see whether you really like it. Is it something that your body really wanted? If it is, then the next bite, you really enjoy it using all your senses. The taste, the texture, the smell, and the yumminess, that any memories that come with it. So for me, some of the memories, my family, if my mom made something, I still, if I make it, I go back to my moments in life where I enjoyed it with my family. Just relive that moment. And then the last bite say, I mean, we have so much abundance in this world, especially if you are living in any of the, any place in this world now. Food is abundant. So you can say, I will come back to this food again, maybe next week or next month or another time. And I know that I will get it. There is no lack. I'm not going to be losing this food for the rest of my life. I can come back to it. So the last bite is saying goodbye.
Hmm.
One is to welcome, second one is to enjoy, third bite is to say bye bye for now, temporarily. But anybody can do that. That's not going to damage anything. Unless you have allergy to something, that's different thing. But this is something you truly want to enjoy. Use the 3 bite rule, enjoy your food, and then, you know, that's the most amazing rule. Some of my clients even tells me that I still follow that, and it really helps me.
I will take that tip. I'll definitely do that. That's
That
great.
is that is awesome, Jesse. And how does somebody reach out to you? If somebody wanted to reach out to you and share their story with you, or reach out to see how you can help them in their journey, how would they get hold of you?
I'm on Facebook. I'm on, LinkedIn. You can search by my name, or I have a website called sensibleketo.com. It is about a low carb lifestyle. So I wanted people to save money. So it starts with the C, scent, because everybody thinks keto is expensive, and I mean, food is expensive by itself. But so I wanted to teach people how to eat healthy without having to spend a ton of money. So this week I'm alone at home. I spent around $6 for some meat and cheese. And then I got free vegetables from my church because they were giving away. So I'm set. And I have, I mean, so many ways we can eat healthy without having to spend a lot of money. So I teach that. It's part of planning the meal and, becoming more effective.
So if we recap, the best way they could get you is either on LinkedIn, Facebook, or on your website.
Through
Could you
my
just, yeah,
website. Mhm. I
yeah,
have
could you
free meal
repeat your, yeah,
plans.
yeah, could you repeat your website?
Sensibleketo.com. Centsible. Keto, keto.com. Yeah. I have
That's
free meal plans, free resources, library of resources, lots of things.
that's awesome.